The campus beauty begged to stay with me. I refused. The next day, she was dead, leaving me with endless guilt.
I joined the police and hunted the killer for 10 years, but the rain had erased every clue. Then lightning
sent me
struck.
back.
Gu, I heard your parents are away. You're alone, right? Could I stay here for a few days?
I can repay you with housework. I stared at Bai Wei and reached out. She wanted to dodge, but forced herself to stay still. Her skin was cold, and she trembled. She was alive. I had truly come back.
Sorry. Bai Wei slipped as she backed away, and I caught her by the waist.
In the pounding rain, neither of us moved. I quickly let go. You looked freezing.
I just wanted to warm you up. Sorry, I'm fine. I stepped aside and let her in.
Her pale face brought back memories. In my past life, the killer vanished after the case. This time, I would save her. With years of police experience, I'd catch the culprit tonight. Bai Wei stood nervously by the door as I fetched slippers.
She panicked. My socks are wet. I'll dirty them. I can go in barefoot.
I'll mop later. Alone with me on a stormy night, soaked through, she was clearly uneasy. She forced herself to calm down and scanned the room. The hot tea and messy boxes finally eased her tension. Here, dry your hair with this. Could I also borrow some clothes? Mine are soaked. She clutched her wet shirt. Since you're changing anyway, take a hot bath first. You'll catch a cold. Use the bathroom in my room. I'll run the water. Bai Wei blushed and quietly agreed. Watching me prepare everything, Bai Wei finally spoke. Gu?
Call me Gu.
You want to know why I haven't asked why you're here? She nodded curiously. A beautiful girl asking for shelter in this storm must have a good reason. If you can't say it, then asking would be rude. Her eyes reddened. After checking the water, I walked over and braced a hand beside her. I leaned close. I'm not worried about your intentions. But aren't you afraid to stay here? What if I try something? She bit her lip, then looked straight at me. I trust you. That answer ended my teasing. I still had important work tonight, so I stepped back. Go take your bath. Here are some clothes. On you, this shirt can work like a dress. I'll wash your wet things. Then I'll dry them. It won't take long. Thank you. She entered the bathroom. Her thanks were for both the shelter and my understanding. I went to make ginger tea. Later, Bai Wei came out in my oversized sweatshirt, cheeks pink from the steam. Her bare legs showed below the hem. I had warmed some slippers for her, and she relaxed after putting them on. She smelled the sweet ginger tea. I brought over a mug, but my eyes briefly caught the loose collar of her sweatshirt. Drink some ginger tea. She sipped it carefully. Want me to cook you noodles? Wouldn't that be too much trouble? Not at all. It'll only take a few minutes. Sit down. I'll add 2 eggs. She grabbed my hand. I can fry eggs. Let me help. In the kitchen, my knife skills surprised her. I quickly sliced tomatoes and ham while Bai Wei climbed onto a stool. Her oversized sweatshirt lifted, and I instantly looked away, blushing. She noticed. Flustered, she pulled the hem down and lost her balance. I caught her, but my hand landed somewhere awkward. She went limp and fell into my arms. Our scents mixed, and we froze until the boiling pot snapped us back. I quickly stepped away and handed her the strainer. You stir, I'll get the eggs. My ears were bright red. So I wasn't numb to women. No one else had ever made my heart race like this. Bai Wei quietly stirred the noodles. The sizzling pan hid our pounding hearts. Soon, tomato noodles filled the kitchen with aroma. Careful, it's hot. Pick a channel. When the TV came on, Bai Wei froze. I had forgotten to switch away from some very embarrassing material. I coughed and changed the screen, putting on Crayon Shin-chan. Back then, hiding this was why I wouldn't let her in. After all these years, I was shameless enough to act calm. I changed the screen, and Bai Wei quickly changed the subject.
You're a great cook.
I wiped the sweat from her nose. Sweating means the chill is leaving your body.
Eat slowly. There's more. She finished every drop with a satisfied smile. One bowl was enough?
Thunder exploded outside. I checked the clock. 9:57. The murder was less than half an hour away.
This time, I would see the killer's face. I had to leave now. I handed her water and tucked a blanket around her.
Stay here and watch TV. I'm going out for a late night snack and we'll be back soon.
You're going out in this rain? It's nearby. At the door, I suddenly turned back.
The killer might already be watching the area. Until I return, don't open the door for anyone. I have a key. I won't ring the bell. Bai Wei nodded obediently and wrapped herself in the blanket as I left. She curled up on the sofa to wait. I opened my black umbrella and checked my watch. It was 9:58. In my past life, Bai Wei died around 10:30. I headed for the 24-hour store she had visited before the murder. She had borrowed an umbrella there before entering the alley. I needed to check whether fate had changed.
What if fate chose another victim instead? I couldn't allow that. On the way, I checked my home camera.
Bai Wei was still curled up, watching TV. Relieved, I hurried on. Near the store, I heard a disturbance.
Trash cans,
several thugs were kicking a thin boy and demanding to know what he was hiding. He clutched a light gray handkerchief beside a fallen metal box. I recognized the quiet classmate from my class,
It was Yizzy,
who was often bullied. The thugs turned pale when they saw me. My family had influence
always
in Shanghai
afraid of
City.
me.
Before I even lowered my umbrella, they fled, leaving only rain hammering the metal
I crouched
awning and held the umbrella over Yezi. Are you okay? Do you need a hospital? A 3-month-old burn scar
When I tried
marked
to help,
his wrist.
he recoiled. His metal box hit the wall, spilling crayons and cat food into the mud.
Wet bangs
he
hit
muttered.
the mole by his eye. Dark brown stains, like dried blood, clung beneath his left fingernails.
You're feeding stray cats in the storm? He mumbled yes, then coughed hard. I threw my coat over his shaking shoulders.
Your mom is away again. If you get sick, who'll care for your brother? Suddenly, a memory from a past life
Outside
flashed
the
back.
store, Bai Wei had seen something before entering the alley. Seeing Yezi now, I finally understood.
She must have seen him being bullied and gone to stop it. Soaked and alone, she could easily have become their next target. I recalled Yezi's condition the following Monday. His injuries had been much worse than tonight. He barely reacted to Bai Wei's death. Maybe he fought the thugs off so she could escape. They weren't the killers.
Then who was?
One clue stood out: the murder weapon. In this storm, whoever carried that kind of knife was the prime suspect. I regretted letting them go. As for injured Yi, he survived in my past life, so I left him for now. Go home quickly. Then I saw his broken umbrella and shoved mine into his hands. Yours is ruined. Take mine. I have something to do, so I can't escort you. Get home safely. Before he could refuse, I ran into the storm. Heavy, the thugs hadn't gone far. Under Eve, they were arguing about whether to ambush me. My family's influence made them hesitate. Before they decided, I rushed straight up to them.
They thought I wanted
startling
money
all
and backed
three.
away. Hey, friends!
I need to borrow something. They stared warily. Not money. Something else. I smiled harmlessly. A knife. They froze, confused. You three call yourselves street toughs. Don't tell me none of you carries a blade. The taunt worked. Green Hair angrily pulled out a butterfly knife and showed off.
One look told me it wasn't the smooth fruit knife from the autopsy report. Too flashy.
I'll pay 100 for something like a fruit knife. The other two eagerly produced a Swiss Army knife.
And a cold steel folding knife. Neither matched. Nice knives, but I only brought 100.
Forget it. Ignoring their angry curses, I walked back into the rain. None of them had the weapon I needed. That lead was dead, and anxiety burned in my chest. The easiest solution would have been to reject Bai Wei again and follow her. I could catch the killer there, but after seeing her alive, I couldn't risk her life again. I'd rather search blindly than gamble with her safety. I returned to the store and bought another umbrella. Gave me a towel. I dried off, cleaned my phone, and sealed it in a waterproof pouch. Then I retraced Bai Wei's route from my past life. The moment I stepped outside, the wind nearly snapped the umbrella and broken glass. I reached the start of the camera blind spot, repeatedly mentioned in the old forensic report. My watch read 10:17. A gust flipped the umbrella, so I abandoned it and let the freezing rain hit me. My phone vibrated. Against a wet wall, I opened the home camera. In the warm light, Bai Wei curled up on the sofa. She kept glancing toward the door, hopeful but worried. Just a little longer. Don't worry. At 10:29, metal clanged at the far end of the alley. I moved closer and saw someone I knew.
It was Zhang Yan, the school bully, sitting under an awning and peeling an apple.
Isn't that you? What are you doing out here this late, in this storm, without an umbrella? Just handling something. The wind broke my umbrella. What about you? Zhang Yan lifted a wrinkled apple with his knife. I knew his bully image was only a shield. His family was poor, and his mother suffered severe kidney failure. Hospital grit clung to his boots, and disinfectant lingered on the knife. But I couldn't stop staring at that fruit knife. Its size and shape matched the murder weapon exactly. Why stand in the rain? Come here. I live nearby and can lend you an umbrella. Then Zhang Yan's phone rang. A nurse shouted that his mother's oxygen had crashed. His face changed. The knife fell into a puddle. Without a word, he sprinted into the storm. I bent down and picked it up. The cold metal confirmed it. At this exact place and time, the size and shape matched perfectly. This was the weapon that killed Bai Wei. If Zhang Yan dropped it by accident, the real killer would soon pass by and find it. I put the knife back and hid nearby, using years of police training. Rain poured down. A drunken homeless man staggered under the awning. He kicked cans and stepped hard on the knife. The blade sank into the mud. He left with half a bottle of liquor. At 10:47, a delivery rider braked nearby, fell, cursed, then kicked it into a drainage crack. Mud quickly covered it. By 10:55, the hidden knife was nearly impossible to notice. Only minutes remained before a masked figure in a black raincoat appeared. Hunched over, he walked directly toward the mud-covered knife. He crouched. Every muscle in my body tightened as his hand reached for the handle. His sleeve slipped back. A clear acid-burn scar marked his wrist. I stepped from the shadows and finally saw the face beneath the hood, the famously kind chemistry teacher at Xinhai No. 2 High. I was stunned. 3 months ago, acid had burned him while he stopped students from fighting. He even comforted the students afterward. If he was the killer, every mystery made sense. Bai Wei hadn't run because she trusted this famously gentle teacher. If he offered his raincoat and promised to take her to his wife, she would never suspect him on such a helpless night. The thought hurt, but I couldn't act recklessly. Li Mingyuan hadn't committed a crime yet. I needed to test him. He looked up at my soaked clothes with surprise and concern. Gu Nancheng? How did you get this soaked? The rain caught me. Teacher Li, why are you out here? I watched his face. A flicker of hesitation crossed his eyes. Nothing. Just buying cigarettes. He was lying. Li Mingyuan didn't smoke and was known as a devoted husband. My raincoat is roomy. Come under it and I'll take you home. To get back. Still smiling kindly, he welcomed me under the raincoat. In the cramped space, he glanced at an adult products machine, looked away, and put an arm around me. I walked with him in a daze. At his door, Li Mingyuan suddenly sent a message. I forgot my key. Wait a moment. But I had clearly felt keys at his waist. My suspicion grew. His second lie tonight. The door finally opened. His wife, fellow chemistry teacher Shen Qing, stood there. She wore a loose silk robe, cheeks flushed. A fallen wine bottle lay on the table behind her. Scented candles, rose petals, and a lingering romantic atmosphere filled the room. Suddenly, the clues
Everything
connected.
clicked. Teacher Lee had planned a romantic night, then went out because they were out of protection.
He cleared a blocked drain, found the knife, then felt too embarrassed to keep shopping after seeing me. He also couldn't leave me alone. Pretending to forget his key gave his wife time to change out of her revealing sleepwear. Every strange action now had an innocent explanation. You're soaked. Here, dry off. Thank you, ma'am. I dried my hair, but one question remained. If he was still truly kind, and his wife was eagerly waiting for him. Could such a man really murder a student? Shen Qing noticed the dirty knife in his hand. Where did you get that? Why is it so dirty? Found it by the drain. It was blocking some trash. Then I met Gu Nanchen and forgot to throw it away. As he approached the bin, I noticed something. Wait, Teacher Lee, let me see it. He turned the blade inward and offered me the handle. That instinct to avoid hurting me again showed his gentle nature. I examined the edge was knife slightly rolled, and my expression changed. From Jiang Yan cutting something hard. The forensic report mentioned no such damage. Different. This wasn't the murder weapon. I had chased the wrong lead. My watch read 11 o'clock. The real killer might only be appearing now. I shoved the towel back to Shen Qing. Sorry, I need to get home. I'll borrow the raincoat. I returned the knife to Li Mingyuan and ran back into the storm, searching the crime area again and again. A few pedestrians passed, but none looked likely to stop and attack someone. By 11:30, the street was empty. Bai Wei was nodding off on the sofa, still forcing herself awake and glancing at the door, waiting for me. I clenched my fist, removed the raincoat, and kept circling the dark area. Midnight passed with no suspicious figure. Took over. Had I really missed the killer? If I couldn't find the murderer, how could I clear Bai Wei's injustice from my past life? I raised my face into the rain. My resolve hardened. Then my phone vibrated. Bai Wei, sleepy but still afraid of being alone, had walked to the door. Hey, hey! My voice from the camera startled her, and she quickly looked toward the lens. Something delayed me. I'll be home soon. Sleep if you're tired. You're safe. That's what matters. She smiled gently at the camera. After I promised to return soon, she curled back up, visibly relieved. I stood in the empty street under cold rain. It was an old habit. Cold water sharpened my mind. I replayed everyone I'd met tonight. The store clerk, Yitzi, the three thugs. Yitzi's bag had been emptied during the beating. He had no money, much less a weapon. Eliminate him, but the thugs had motive. The homeless man and delivery rider only touched the wrong knife. One by one, I rolled them out. My memory rewound to someone I thought impossible, Jiang Yan. He ran to the hospital, but if his mother stabilized quickly, half an hour was enough to return. What if he realized the knife was gone and bought another? The case file did record someone buying a fruit knife in the store between 10 and 11 p.m. His return could have perfectly overlapped the time I was at Teacher Lee's house. Jiang Yan's suspicions suddenly soared. There was one simple test. Knock on his door. If he was home with a newly bought knife, the theory would grow much stronger. The lights were on. I knocked. Jiang Yan opened the door shirtless, a towel over his head. Why aren't you home? Where'd you get that raincoat? I stepped inside and immediately saw a brand new fruit knife buyer was him. Teacher Lee lent me this. You just got back? Yeah, my mom had a scare and I forgot to lend you an umbrella. Why are you still out so late? I like walking in the rain. You dropped your knife earlier. Why did you buy another one? Damn, that's where it went. Teacher Lee found it and threw it away? Oh, forget it. The old blade was rolled from cutting wood, so I bought a new one on the way home. He laughed casually, but my heart sank. His timing matched the murder, and he bought the same knife. I couldn't clear him, so I tested him. We're friends, right? Friends? We're brothers. Did something happen? Tell me. I looked him in the eye. I don't want to see you ruin your life. Think about consequences. Your mother needs you. Don't break the law. Jiang Yan froze. He thought I had discovered his plan to sell counterfeit cigarettes at school.
Instead of getting angry, he was moved that I had come through the storm to warn him. Relax. You know I won't do it.
I took his answer seriously and left, unaware that my warning made him abandon the fake cigarette scheme for good.
Behind me, he thumped his chest and silently swore I was his brother for life. I left with mixed feelings.
I returned Teacher Lee's raincoat to his doorstep. Hearing intimate sounds inside, I quietly left and walked home in the rain.
My mood slowly eased. Even if Jiang Yan was the killer, he might still be at a stage where guidance could stop him.
Of everyone I met, he remained the main suspect. It was after midnight when I finally opened my front door.
Bai Wei woke and ran over smiling, then saw me soaked. You went for a snack.
How did you get completely soaked?
The wind broke my umbrella, and the snack blew away. You get nothing. Go take a hot bath before you catch a cold.
Seeing her worried face, I smiled. The guest room only had a bare bed frame with nothing prepared.
You can sleep on the sofa or squeeze in with me. I'll take the sofa. I was kidding. You take the bed. I'll bathe first.
I didn't want to soak the clean floor, so I stripped off my wet outer clothes in the living room. The sight made Bai Wei's heart race and her face burn. She was too flustered to speak. I'll call you when I'm done so you can sleep in the bedroom. I carried the wet clothes into the bathroom, missing her reaction.
Only when the shower started did she collapse onto the sofa, pressing a hand to her hot cheeks. Later, I came out in a towel.
I meant to send her to bed, but she was already asleep, curled under the blanket like a kitten. I quietly watched her. Her calm breathing still felt unreal. As I brushed hair from her face, a drop of water fell onto her slightly parted lips. She licked it unconsciously, making me pull my hand back. Thunder cracked, and she kicked half the blanket away.
I caught it and touched her warm ankle. Her breathing changed, her lashes trembled, and her temperature rose. She was awake. I didn't
expose her. I lifted her, blanket and all, and carried her to the bedroom. I sat her gently on the bed and covered her with my quilt, then leaned close to her ear. I smiled and left. When the door closed, Bai Wei opened her eyes in the darkness. Her mind had gone blank during those few steps. She had been terrified, only to hear a gentle goodnight. She hugged the blanket, breathing in the faint scent of soap, and for the first time slept without curling into herself. By morning, the storm had eased. Bai Wei got up early, changed into her dry clothes, and kept her promise to help around the house. Then froze outside. Exhausted, I had fallen asleep on the sofa in only a bath towel. I lay with my back to her, and the towel that should have covered me had somehow fallen to the floor. Bai Wei's face turned bright red. To distract herself, she made sandwiches and hot milk, but the image stayed in her mind. Just as she set breakfast out, I woke on the sofa, still half asleep. By instinct, I reached for the gun that used to sit by my bed, but touched only the cold glass table. I sat up. The old bullet wound in my shoulder didn't hurt. I looked down and saw all my scars were gone. In their place was a young, uninjured body. I was fully awake now. I really had returned 10 years. I looked toward the open bedroom door, heart-stopping until I saw Bai Wei busy in the kitchen. It wasn't a dream. She had survived the stormy night. In my past life, police work and guilt had stolen my youth. Now she was alive, and my youth was back. This time I would truly live. Gunan Chen, breakfast is ready. Bai Wei peeked out and called gently. I sat up, following the warm smell of bread and milk. She waited at the table. Next time, eat first. It's fine. I'll wait, then wash the dishes together. Tell me if anything needs changing. This is good enough to sell behind the school. You cook, I'll take the money. Living alone kept me hardworking. Living with you might turn me into a lazy pig. Bai Wei laughed brightly. I bit into the sandwich. Warm egg and cheese tasted surprisingly good. I pulled out the tissue. I wiped a spot from the tip of her nose. Her ears turned red as she stirred her milk. After breakfast, I reached for the dishes. Touched. Hers was soft but cold. Bai Wei insisted on doing all the chores and left the kitchen spotless. Looking for more work. I grabbed her hand and firmly sat her on the sofa. You look exhausted. No chores for 2 days. I'm the host, so you have to rest. Or I'll throw you out. My threat worked. She nodded obediently. Come shopping with me later. We'll get you some new clothes. I can go home for clothes. At the word home, her expression tightened. No need. We'll buy new ones. You can repay me by working here. If you never finish paying, I won't let you leave. She heard the invitation beneath the joke. A warm smile finally appeared. Where do you usually buy clothes? A second-hand shop behind the school. 50 yuan buys a full outfit. But I disinfect everything. Boil it 3 times. Then dry it in the sun. She was afraid I'd look down on her. Her voice sounded embarrassed. I remembered a better place and suddenly took her hand. Her forehead stumbled after my shoulder. She didn't pull away and let me lead her to a shop window around the corner. A bell and lazy gramophone music welcomed us. Seeing the expensive display, Bai Wei nervously tucked my sleeve. This place looks expensive. The owner is my mom's old classmate and gives students good prices. Relax. I opened the door. Aunt Sue looked up from the counter, noticed our joined hands, and smiled knowingly. What a pretty girl. Nancheng, did you bring your girlfriend shopping? Bai Wei's ears turned red. Aunt Sue, so I gently let go. Seasonal clothes. And a few sets of cotton underwear. Aunt Sue led Bai Wei behind the fading curtain, which made her even more shy. I sat by the window, pretending to study a catalog, while the voices carried clearly through the curtain. You really don't want the lace one? Listen to me. Women should dress for themselves. Wear what you like. This set would drive Nancheng crazy. You like it, he'll like it. Everyone wins. Bai Wei wanted to explain our relationship, but couldn't get the words out. Blushing, she gave in. Afterward, Aunt Shu brought several outfits to try on. Hearing the clothes rustle behind the curtain made me nervous. Then it opened. Does this look strange? Bai Wei turned in the skirt. Morning light softened the fabric as the skirt swayed. I swallowed and stepped closer to fix her collar. The second button is wrong. My fingers brushed her skin, and I pulled back quickly, placing a straw hat on her to hide my panic. Looks like you both approve. Try this one. The curtain opened again, revealing another outfit shaped by the morning light. I couldn't look away. Aunt Zhu had excellent taste, and every outfit fit perfectly. Aunt Zhu, when she kept bringing more, my cart is dying. Her. So what? Ask your mother to pay. She'll be thrilled you're spending on her future daughter-in-law. I thought you two were already together. I begged her to spare me. Aunt Zhu gave us a huge discount, packed the underwear separately, and whispered to me, I've inspected your little girlfriend's figure for you. I nearly choked and handed over my car with burning ears. Bai Wei stood by the window, looking at lace sleepwear, bright and youthful in the morning light. Then I remembered her death photo fist and swore that as long as I lived, I would protect this beautiful life. Clothes done, we still needed bedding. I carried the bags ahead while Bai Wei secretly watched me. A mint green lace edge fluttered from one bag. Choose whatever you like. You're the one sleeping on it. We looked almost like a young couple shopping together. The bedding store glowed warmly. I pushed the cart beside her as she bent to compare items. Newlywed shopping. Too expensive. If you like it, try it. I handed her a silk quilt. She smiled. While I checked fillings, she quietly returned the 4-digit quilt and picked up a cheap pale green one. This feels nice. Nice. The quality is terrible. I realized the price had scared her off and lightly tapped her forehead. Improves sleep. And later, when you don't stay in the guest room, we can wash it and keep it for visitors. The words we and not staying in the guest room made her pause. Come test this mattress before you overthink it. I pulled her into the soft bedding and put a memory foam pillow behind her head, supporting her waist through the fabric. Bai Wei blushed among the soft quilts, feeling as if the air itself had turned sweet. After we bought everything, she quietly thanked me. I stopped, and she bumped into my back. From now on, you don't need to say thank you. Actions speak louder. Before you repay me, you're absolutely not allowed to let anything happen to you. She nodded. Let's go home. We paid, left the delivery address, and headed back. Sweet osmanthus rice wine
I bought
drifted
a
from a
hot
street
rice
stall
cake
and held it to her lips. Syrup touched her mouth, so I wiped it away. Good. Very sweet and fragrant. Next time, I'll take you to the snack street. There are even better things there. She watched my back silently, remembering a childhood promise we made in the park. By the time we got home, the bedding had arrived. I knelt on the guest room floor, wrestling with the duvet cover. Bai Wei held a new pillow. I'm afraid you'll sew yourself into it. I shook out the new sheet and playfully dropped it over her head. Now this bed and this whole room are yours, for as long as you want. The simple words struck deep. She turned away. I saw her shoulders trembling. She was crying, perhaps feeling for the first time what it meant to have a home. Don't get too moved. I'm still charging you rent. You'd better think about how to repay your debt. Bai Wei wiped her eyes, turned back, and gave me a brilliant smile. I had just settled her in and lay down to rest when the doorbell rang. Bai Wei instinctively stepped back. After the tragedy of my past life, every nerve was tense. I feared the hidden killer might be outside. I jumped up and shielded her behind me. Bai Wei was surprised by my protectiveness, but a little sweetness entered her eyes. It was Zhong Yan, my main suspect. In my past life, he had never visited today. The timeline had changed. His sudden appearance put me on full alert. I steadied myself and opened the door.
Zhang Yan, why are you here? 看他位子. You were so class, Anna. I were you 的字.
I had my mom teach me a warming soup and brought you some. Seeing the thermos, I understood. My stormy visit to warn him had moved him and created this butterfly effect. He looked like nothing but a loyal friend. My head does feel heavy. Drink 2 bowls, then. He started inside and noticed his eyes darted between us. Bai Wei? You know him? I get it. Hello, sister-in-law.
Drink the brown sugar ginger soup hot.
It's good for sister-in-law too. I need to care for my mom at the hospital. Jiang Yan ran off. Watching his simple, sunny figure, I felt conflicted. Could someone so loyal be a brutal killer? I desperately wanted another suspect to clear him. Bai Wei watched him leave. Everyone says he's a terrible school bully, but he doesn't look like one. Appearances can deceive. Things aren't always what they seem. I opened the thermos, and ginger and dates filled the air. I poured 2 bowls and handed her one. Drink it hot. You were soaked too, and you look pale lately. The sweet, spicy soup warmed us. I always heard people call him bad. I didn't expect him to be so kind. Life forced him into that role. He wasn't always like this. At those words, Bai Wei's expression dimmed. The phrase, life forced him, clearly touched her own pain. I knew only fragments about her family, her divorced from investigating her death. She lived with her mother, but neither household had told me much. I was certain the stormy night was connected to her family. Neighbors said she had fled after a conflict with her stepfather, but the family denied it. They claimed he accidentally fell onto a knife her mother was holding. They also said he scolded Bai Wei after finding a boy's photo on her phone, which started the argument. Soon after she left, they went to the hospital. Cameras confirmed their arrival and cleared them as suspects. Her stepfather barely reacted to her death. Her mother collapsed and later lost her mind. The investigation revealed something worse. Home, Bai Wei went to her father's house, but came out soon after, even more devastated. That night, both of her closest families turned her away before she came to me. I couldn't imagine the despair behind her. Every memory drowned me in regret. But heaven gave me another chance, and I would never let go of her again. I brought warm milk to the sofa. Bai Wei sat reading in the corner, absently rubbing a pale crescent-shaped scar on her left wrist. I added honey. She almost thanked me, then remembered my rule and stopped. I noticed what she was reading. Want to become a fortune teller? Yes. Once I learn, I'll tell your fortune. She smiled playfully. A car screeched outside. Bai Wei went rigid and nearly spilled her milk. I quickly held her trembling hand. Happened. I sat beside her and kept holding on. Don't worry, you still owe me. Until the debt is paid, no one gets to take you away. Her heart raced even faster. Once I learned
I'll check whether we're
fortune-telling,
compatible.
I don't want my daughter cursing me. Bai Wei blushed. She had already secretly checked her
To
charts.
her surprise, we matched perfectly. What university do you want? I have some ideas, but
What about
haven't
you?
decided.
Simple. Wherever you apply, I'll apply too. You owe me a fortune.
If I don't watch you, you might run away and leave me broke.
Bai Wei stirred her drink, smiling. I want Jin University or psychology at Kyoto Medical University. Those are hard schools.
Why psychology?
I suddenly remembered her mother losing her mind. Had she already been ill?
It's a
Bai
good
Wei
field.
opened her mouth.
It might also
then
make you
stayed
mentally
silent.
stronger. I'll work as hard as I can. Then I'll tutor
She
you.
stared. My grades were average. Hers were near the top. What, you don't believe me? You're lying. Whenever you lie, you avoid eye contact and pause while speaking. To her, that meant I had always been watching her closely. The thought made her sweeter than the milk. To prove myself, I grabbed an exam workbook and finished several pages quickly and correctly. In my past life, I had studied obsessively to enter the police university and hunt the killer. These questions
Bai
were
Wei
burned
looked
into memory.
impressed.
Then I'll owe you tutoring fees too. What if I can never repay you? Then sign yourself
handed
over
her
to me.
paper
as a joke. To my surprise, she seriously began writing. She wrote a mock deed of service and her name, leaving the terms blank. You, my creditor, can fill in the conditions.
Then I can demand anything.
What service would you like, my lord creditor? She smiled mischievously.
I leaned close to her ear, making her shiver. Forget the service.
I have one order tonight. Bai Wei swallowed nervously. You must be asleep by 10.
And you can't get up before 7. I'll make breakfast.
She stared, then smiled warmly. Yes, my lord creditor. That night, under my strict orders, Bai Wei went to bed. I brought her a warm milk.
You can lock the door. I left. She looked at the handle but didn't lock it. I finally exhaled. In my past life, I buried guilt in non-stop police work. Now, 10 years earlier, she was saved.
After
and I was
calming
finally
myself,
free too.
I fell asleep and dreamed of a childhood park where a doll-like little girl was crying. You're too old to cry. I'm not crying. Did someone bully you? I'll make
The
them
girl quickly
apologize.
stopped
him. It's not about anyone else. Little Gu Nancheng used his clean handkerchief to
Why are
wipe
you
her
staring
tears.
at me?
He checked his reflection in a puddle, making her laugh. I'm Gu Nancheng.
I come here often. If you're sad, find me. His mother called, and he ran away. Then my alarm rang.
I woke from the childhood dream. Bai Wei dreamed of the same park. One of my parents is going to leave me. Don't cry. I thought it was something worse. Both my parents left me, and I didn't cry. Little Bai Wei stared in surprise, then hugged the boy to comfort him. What will you do without them? Live with Grandma and Grandpa. Adults say my parents will come back when they're done. They say when parents leave, they get new families and stop wanting you. I'm scared. The boy wiped her tears again. Then come live with me. My house is big, and my parents want a daughter. We can be a family. Those innocent words made Bai Wei cry again. For the first time, she felt there was somewhere
But
she
she
could
never
belong.
returned.
She left a thank you note where they met. In the dream, she watched him leave with tears in her eyes. I knocked on the guest room door and woke her. For breakfast, I had made red date and bean porridge to build her strength.
Watching her carefully sip the hot porridge,
I got lost in thought. Why are you staring? You remind me of someone.
a little girl I knew as a child. We played briefly before she moved away. You look just like her. Didn't she say goodbye? Not in person. I only found a damaged note after she left.
Rain ruined half the note. Bai Wei looked more and more like that girl. Had she met a boy in a park?
She only smiled and told me to guess. Her mood visibly brightened. She finally understood why I hadn't recognized her
The
name.
note with her name had been destroyed. Learning that I had remembered her all along, she refused to answer directly. I don't think you're her. You're much prettier. She instantly blushed. After breakfast, I couldn't watch her every minute. Buy her a phone. Meanwhile, I wondered how to ask my mother for money after spending so much on clothes and bedding. My credit limit was nearly gone. I asked Mom for 5,000, and she immediately sent 50,000. Her message said, "Tell me if you need more, and date properly." Aunt Chu had clearly reported our shopping trip. With funds secured, I relaxed. Anywhere you'd like to go? I want to visit the old park. That was where I met the little girl. Her family history, her earlier words, and her habits when lying all fit together. My heart pounded. In my past life, grief had buried every childhood memory. Now I finally understood. Bai Wei was that little girl. The park is good for kites. Let's buy one. Then we'll visit the snack street. Okay. I've never flown a kite. Her childlike excitement filled me with tenderness. Ordinary fun was rare for her. I swore to restore every color life had taken away. First, let's buy you a phone. Without a phone, how will your creditor find you in an emergency? She smiled at the weak excuse and followed me into the store. A clerk recommended a pink phone for young couples. Bai Wei shyly gripped the edge of her pale green skirt. I pointed to a rose pink model priced at 4,888 yuan. When she stared at the price, I blocked it. The clerk showed us how to take selfies. Don't look at things you shouldn't. Bai Wei panicked and snapped a photo that barely included me. This far away. I moved close, guided her hand, and took the photo with my face almost touching her hair. In the photo, she looked up while my face brushed her hair. Our overlapping reflections made us look exactly like a young couple. After buying the phone, the clerk offered free engraving. Put GNCYM. Bai Wei stared at the letters. Are my initials. What do the last two mean? She kept thinking as we left and almost tripped. I caught her in my arms. Watch where you're going, silly. Then tell me, or I'll keep thinking about it. She tugged my sleeve and acted spoiled for once. Fine, fine, I'm your creditor. YM means your moneylender. Of course, it could mean something else. Bai Wei suddenly thought of another meaning. Her heart sped up and her face turned bright red. I laughed inwardly at her reaction. She had clearly imagined YM as your man. I didn't expose her shy, hopeful thought. The bus rolled toward the old district where our childhoods overlapped. I gently placed one earbud in her ear. Have you heard the song, Don't Cry My Love, by Zheng Jihua? I like it. Memories flooded back. In my past life, I listened to it through countless nights while mourning her. One lyric felt like a prophecy of her fate. A sad cover played in our ears. As Bai Wei listened, tears silently slid down her cheeks. I didn't know she had once wanted to end her life many times. The memory of that childhood boy had kept her going. While I sank into sorrow, a soft hand touched my cheek. Bai Wei looked at me with painful concern. She suddenly pulled me into a tight hug. Her warmth overlapped with the girl who had comforted me. I didn't pull away. Morning light filled the bus and eased the darkness in both our hearts. The old district still smelled of camphor trees, breakfast stalls, and bicycle bells. Bai Wei followed me like a curious child. She immediately chose a pink butterfly. One each. The blue one makes a pair. With two kites, how can I find an excuse to hold her hand? The seller froze, and Bai Wei laughed. I ran ahead and showed her how to launch it. With my guidance, the butterfly kite finally caught the wind. Her eyes shone. Want to try? I gave her the spool. A gust pulled her back, and I caught her. My hands covered hers. Gunan Cheng, when we were little, we always said clouds looked like cotton candy. Now I found something even more similar. You. Your smile is just as soft and sweet. In the middle of our flirting, I noticed a familiar figure nearby. Jiang Yan, what are you doing here? I followed his gaze to a ponytailed girl helping at her father's barbecue stall. I suddenly remembered Zhang Yan's tragic future. In my past life, they fell in love. To overcome her father's prejudice against his bully reputation, Zhang Yan changed everything. Hair, removed his tattoos, left his bad friends, quit smoking, and started dressing neatly. But her father still saw him as a thug trying to deceive his daughter. The girl ran away from home and stayed with Zhang Yan. His mother welcomed her but urged her to reconcile with her father. Instead, the father arrived with police and caused a public scene. He accused Zheng Yan of ruining his daughter and threatened a rape charge. The shock killed Zheng Yan's already gravely ill mother. Scare him. But one good romance instantly became a blood feud. Zheng Yan nearly lost control from grief. Even after the father regretted it, how could he marry the daughter of the man he blamed? Zheng Yan dropped out and left the city. Years later, I found him living under a bridge. He had lost his mind, repeating that he had to avenge his mother, but no longer even knew how. Remembering him that way hurt almost as much as Bai Wei's death. Even though the knife once pointed suspicion at him, I refused to believe he was truly evil. I couldn't let his tragedy repeat. A fugitive tip worth a 100,000 yuan reward. Police recognition could change the girl's father's opinion. I'll tell you at school tomorrow. Zhang Yang scratched his head. Then someone passed with a little boy. Ye Qi, what a coincidence. Out with your brother? He stopped, expressionless, then nodded. Brother Gu. His younger brother Ye Xi was much warmer. Because I'd helped Ye Xi, the boy liked me. Xiaoxi. I patted his head, but Bai Wei noticed something strange in the way Ye Xi watched me. Ye Xi's eyes showed an intense, almost uncontrollable longing. He seemed desperately jealous of his brother's closeness to me. The strange intensity frightened Bai Wei. She couldn't tell whether it was hostility or an unsettling form of affection. Ye Qi suddenly turned and stared sharply at her. Behind me and gripped my sleeve. When I looked up, Ye Qi instantly returned to his dull expression. I never knew what went on in his mind. Keep enjoying yourselves. I'm full, so I'll go. Bai Wei. Ye Qi nodded awkwardly. School starts tomorrow. Sleep early. I won't make you a late night snack. Ye Xi's eyes widened, as if he wanted to ask something, but he stayed silent. Bai Wei, only when his brother tugged his sleeve, quickly pulled me away. Did Ye Qi look away and give his family a rare, gentle smile. Bai Wei had overeaten. I put her hands on her stomach and showed her how to massage clockwise. She blushed at my patient attention. This simple warmth felt more comfortable than either of her parents' homes. I went to make honey, mint, and lemon water. Alone on the sofa, Bai Wei suddenly fell into fear. Years of family pressure made her fear this dreamlike happiness was only a bubble and she'd wake in that cold home again. I noticed her mood, touched my forehead to hers to check for fever, then sat beside her. Honey and lemon water with mint helps digestion. I lifted a spoon to her lips. She shyly tried to take the cup herself. 1 spoon at a time. Each sweet, sour sip warmed her stomach. Seeing no impatience in my care, tears filled her eyes. Years of anxiety were slowly melting under a sense of safety. Bai Wei slept peacefully and dreamed of her late grandparents. Through happy tears, she told them about a wonderful boy and waved goodbye to them. Her long-buried emotional wounds were beginning to heal. Her heart slowly found calm and security. The next morning, Bai Wei rose early and made breakfast. I noticed she seemed different, brighter and more hopeful. After breakfast, we put on our uniforms and left for school. Sometime soon, let's go to your house and move your things. At the word house, she visibly shrank. She didn't know how to face either broken family. I held her cold left hand tightly. Don't worry about them objecting. I don't want to go back. She gripped my hand, trusting me completely. I won't make you go back. You still owe me, so you're not allowed to disappear before paying me. After seeing light again, she finally dared leave the darkness. The next day, we went to school together. The classroom buzzed with reading. As soon as we sat down, my deskmate, Su Jin, leaned over, grinning. I heard you two went to the night market together. Very sweet, apparently. True? Bai Wei blushed. Oh, who told you? Ye Qi's little brother. He said you were on a date with a pretty girl. One stern Several boys joined the teasing. Then a well-dressed middle-aged woman appeared at the classroom door. It was Bai Wei's biological mother. Bai Wei went rigid and immediately looked to me for help. The homeroom teacher spoke to her. then turned inside. Bai Wei, your mother is here. At my signal, Bai Wei took a breath. Out. Her mother put on an apologetic face and convinced the teacher to return to class. Through the window, I watched Bai Wei stand with lowered eyes and sealed lips while her mother talked endlessly. After a long while, her mother said something cold and walked away. The life that had returned to Bai Wei that morning vanished. She came back looking crushed and glanced at me anxiously. I didn't ask. I only gave her a firm, reassuring smile. Her shoulders slowly relaxed. Bai Wei, what did your mom want? Nothing, just family stuff. Adults' business. Kids shouldn't pry. After reading period, I'll take you to the school shop. I tapped Su Jin with the book and rescued Bai Wei from the questions. Inside, I was already planning my next move. If her family darkness kept following her, I needed a stronger, open reason to stay beside her. Near the end of reading period, I approached Teacher He. We should focus on studying at your age. Then let's make a bet. If I place in the class top 10 on this week's finals, let me move to the seat beside her. Teacher He's eyes brightened. If young feelings motivate you to work harder, that's a good thing. Fine, top 10. We sealed the deal, and I'll allow it. And I returned to my seat, opened my English book, and began studying like a madman. My desk mate stared as if I had become addicted to studying. I ignored him. I had to win. After reading period, I kept my promise for revenge. Bai Wei still looked down, so I gave her a lollipop. Eat something sweet. It'll help. Remember what I said this morning. After school, I'll solve everything. Bai Wei took a few breaths and finally smiled genuinely. Outside, I saw Jiang Yan lounging on a flower bed. He was staring at the ponytailed girl helping at the barbecue stall, so absorbed he didn't notice us. Keep staring like that and people will call you a stalker. Jiang Yan spun around. Goo! Hello, sister-in-law. Bai Wei blushed. I sent her and Su Jin back, then sat beside him. Winning a girl takes one thing. Let me give you advice. Sincerity. But I'm less worried about Kui Wan than her very traditional father. He'll never approve of your current thug look. Jiang Yan's face fell. In my past life, that prejudice began the tragedy. I had a plan. I know the location of a wanted fugitive with a 100,000 yuan reward. Report it to the police. When they make the arrest, the credit is yours. Police and school recognition will change her father's view. If he still hates your look, say you dress that way to infiltrate troublemakers and help the investigation. Damn, good. That's brilliant. We split the 100,000 reward. You take 50,000. That will ease your mother's medical costs and give you more time to pursue the girl. The information is solid. Are you in? Brothers don't need to count favors. That's enough for me. We settled the plan just as Cool Wan gathered courage and walked over to watch. The tall Jiang Yan became a stammering schoolboy in front of her. She at once called police to help him. She expected a terrifying bully and found a shy, pure-hearted boy instead. Watching him awkwardly follow her, I finally relaxed. Then I turned and saw Ye Qi standing quietly nearby. Sorry about Friday night. Were you okay afterward? I'm fine. Here's your handkerchief. Your coat is still at the cleaner. I took the spotless handkerchief, patted his shoulder, and told him to come to me anytime. Back in class, I stole Su Jin's chocolate. Ignoring her protest, I gave the last piece to Bai Wei. She gently broke it in half and shared it with Su Jin. The classroom felt full of youth. Then my phone received a fax from Mom. A live-in housekeeper contract were clear. 6,000 yuan a month, free room and board, and no work harmful to physical or mental health. It wasn't just a job contract. It was a legal shield designed for Bai Wei. Once she signed as an adult, earning enough to live independently, her parents could no longer control or exploit her so easily. If her families gave no warmth, I would pull her out legally. I also sent Jiang Yan the fugitive details. Looking at the sunlight, I knew our new life was truly beginning. After school, Bai Wei suddenly froze and hid behind me. Her biological father, Bai Chengfeng, stood at the gate. Her mother had failed to bring her home and clearly called him. Speak only if you want. If not, I'll handle it. You don't need to fear anything. Bai Wei took 2 deep breaths and slowly relaxed. We walked forward and deliberately ignored
We were
Bai
barely
Chengfeng.
outside when footsteps chased us. Bai Wei, wait! Your mother says you haven't been home for days. What's going on?
He questioned her while quietly inspecting me. Bai Wei trembled and couldn't speak. I didn't hesitate. In front of her father, I firmly took her cold hand. Both of them froze. Bai Wei looked afraid he
You
might
should
hurt
know
me.
exactly what's going on. On Friday, in that storm, your daughter had nowhere she could even shelter.
Who are you? Her classmate. Let go of her and stay away from our Bai Wei. During that storm, you would rather leave your own daughter outside than let her stay one night. You call that her home? I had no patience for such selfish hypocrisy. Bastard! This
Who
is
are
our
you to
family
lecture me?
business. Let go now, or I'll call your teacher and parents. Fine, I can call my parents right now.
They might lecture you too. You're harassing a girl. Let go, or I'll call the police. False reporting can get you detained. The police aren't your private bodyguards. Uncle, I suggest you calm down.
Bai Chengfeng tried to drag her away. I caught his wrist with a hold from my police life. My strength far exceeded an ordinary high schooler's. He groaned in pain. I'm telling you 3 things. Listen carefully. First, Bai Wei's custody is with her mother. You have no right to forcefully control
Take your hand
or touch
away.
her.
Second, when she needed protection most, you watched her get driven into the storm.
What right do you have to pretend you care? Third, she's an adult and can support herself. Now if there's nothing else, we're going to lunch. Goodbye. I threw his hand aside. If you keep harassing her, I'll hang a banner outside your company and tell your coworkers and bosses how you shut your own daughter out during a storm. That should help your promotion, right? I had found the pressure point of a selfish man. Bai Chengfeng fell silent. On the way home, Bai Wei kept looking up at me. I seemed both familiar and strange to her. I seemed far too mature for a student. Sorry, Bai Wei. I attacked your father without asking how you felt. I suddenly regretted it. He was still her biological father, and I might have trapped her between us. I'm happy. Very happy. She squeezed my palm, her fingers lightly tracing my hand as she looked down. You stood in front of me and spoke for me without hesitation. You're only a student, yet you faced my father. She looked up. I'm truly happy. I realized tears covered her face. I took out a handkerchief and gently wiped her red eyes. Why cry if you're happy? She said nothing, only gave me a brilliant smile. The tears carried release and joy. Silly girl, crying and laughing. But crying isn't bad. Being able to smile afterward is healthy. Her old pain finally seemed to melt. At home, I served 2 huge bowls of taro and pork rib rice. That's too much. I can't finish it. There's a kind of hunger called your host thinks you're hungry. You can always stay here. And if you really gain weight, I'll be your strict trainer. Don't torture yourself over your body. A little softness is cute. Like Su Jin, her cheeks are so satisfying to pinch. Then, if I get chubby, will you pinch me every day too? I couldn't bear to. Besides, you're my employee now. Bullying you would be workplace harassment. We don't have a contract. What would I report? Who says we don't? I went to the fax machine. I handed her the document. Your official contract has been ready for a while. Sign it after lunch. I always stared at it. You told your mother? She had to be involved for it to be valid. Did she say anything else? She did. She said if you don't take good care of me, she'll fire you. Especially this duty. Daily care. For example, if my bed is cold at night, you have to warm it. That's an unfair clause. Special services she was no longer extra. Painfully shy and could even joke with me. I couldn't help laughing. This contract finally gave her real protection. Bai Wei studied the detailed professional clauses in disbelief. Are you really going to pay the salary written here? It's in black and white. Once signed, it's legally binding. If I don't pay, you can sue me, and I may owe several times the amount. No, that's too much. Maybe we shouldn't sign it. Watching her squirm, I calmly drank some milk. I had already planned my answer. This isn't a private game between us. Its real purpose is to protect you from future pressure from your parents. At the word parents, her shoulders trembled slightly. She looked confused. My parents? You're newly 18. What does this have to do with them? But without stable income, they can still exert enormous control. Article that a person with stable income sufficient for daily life can be treated as fully capable of civil conduct. I opened the relevant text on my phone. In simple terms, with this job, you have stronger grounds to refuse if they coerce you, interference. You can use the law to protect yourself. Is that true? Outsiders couldn't imagine her family's cold cruelty. As she read, the darkness finally left her eyes, replaced by a vitality I'd never seen before. Now you see the benefit. After lunch, sign it. But 6,000 yuan a month is far too much. My mother only earns 3,000. I'm not good enough to be a housekeeper. Can we cut it in half? You eat and live here. I'll recover the money anyway. The number is only for outsiders. It's all mine anyway. Then I'm relieved. She relaxed and eagerly ate her rice as if every grain tasted better. I teased her again. You won't lose a cent. If it feels like too much, use your salary for our household expenses. Let me experience being kept. Fine. I, by way, promise to support Gu Nanchen for life. After lunch, she happily signed the contract, hummed a tune, kicked me out of the kitchen, and washed the dishes herself. Were quiet. I remembered some calming herbs I'd brought from my grandparents' home. They said placing them under a pillow helps sleep. I had forgotten. I entered the spotless, lightly scented guest room. I lifted Bai Wei's pillow and my eyes froze. A cold fruit knife lay underneath. It almost perfectly matched the weapon described in her past life autopsy. It wasn't from my house. She had carried it since wandering through the storm. Old memories exploded in my mind. Suicide had been ruled out by the wound angle. But if she brought the weapon herself, everyone I had cleared for lacking a knife became suspicious again. Ye Ci, the thugs, the homeless man, the courier, even any passerby could have grabbed her own knife and attacked. Collapsed at once. That knife? Bai Wei had appeared in the doorway. She saw me frozen by the pillow, then saw the custode's knife. Panic flooded her face. Terrified I would misunderstand. You don't have to explain. A girl alone should know how to protect herself. I pulled her into my arms. Stiff helplessness, I replayed every detail of the old case. This time, I swore the tragedy would never happen again.